right. It's right about 3 o'clock, everyone. Actually, it's about 2:59, but we're going to get started. So welcome, everyone, to our Dr. Selfridge live stream from Dr. Selfridge YouTube channel. Welcome, everyone. If you're a returning old friend, welcome back. If you are someone who's just checking us out for the first time, welcome to our show. What we do here is we answer any questions you might have about playing instruments. I take requests. I play some songs. If you need help or if you'd like me to play a particular song for you, I do some of that. I could teach you maybe a song you're looking to need some help with, answer your musical questions, whether it's something for a very beginner about some basic notes or maybe something more advanced. We talk about all kinds of things here. It's a really fun little community time that we have here together. It's Sunday. We're here. Oh, hi, Josh. I see some of my friends, some of my high school students checking in. We have a good time here. We like to answer your questions. One thing I really like to know is, especially if you're new, it's nice to know where people are watching from. So if you're watching from somewhere in the United States or somewhere in the world, it's always fun to learn those things about the folks who are here today. So I am going to dive right in, start saying hello to some people, and hopefully we'll get some questions. Send me your questions, your music questions. That's why we're here. Let's see here. So Matthew is checking in, and Matthew says, good afternoon, ready to make some music. Hi, Matthew. Good to see you here again. Always fun to have you on the show. And Mia, our good friend Mia, is here. Hi, Mia. And let's see. Ari was here early. So, Ari, I hope you're still here. Looks like you did say hello. There's Ari. And Cecilia Ruiz says hello. Hi, Cecilia. And Josh and Zach are hanging out. Hi, Josh and Zach. Ask me some questions. Some music questions. Let's see. Leonardo, a good friend of ours, says hello. Yes, thank you, Leonardo. Abel, is it Abel? Am I saying that correctly? Abel is watching from Lusaka, Zambia in Africa. Wow, I bet I don't know what time it is where you're watching, but I bet it's not, it's certainly not 3 in the afternoon like it is here. But Abel, thank you so much for being here today. And actually, everyone, while I'm waiting for some more questions to come in, I want to welcome in Dennis. We're going to say hello to Dennis. Dennis, you are here with us today.
I am.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Awesome.
I'm doing well. Doing well, pal.
Great. How cool is that? We have Abel watching from Africa. Isn't that neat?
Yes, absolutely.
And then we have Laura. Well,
I hope
Go ahead.
He has good questions, so we can answer them for him.
Yes. We have people. We have Laura watching from Maryland. We got them all over the place.
Yes, we do.
And Abel says it's 9 p.m. Wait, is that 9 p.m. in Africa? I thought they might be a little bit further apart than us, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the hours, But that's
Right.
great. That's great. So, Dennis, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit, and I'm going to let everyone know that yesterday was your birthday. So, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Everyone wish Dennis.
I appreciate it.
Wish Dennis a happy birthday. And Dennis, do you mind sharing the special event you had yesterday?
Oh, well, it was an induction into the LaSalle College High School Athletics Hall of Fame with a team that I coached. I was assistant coach for a swim team that won all of the Easterns in 2004. So the whole team was put in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, as I was telling Steve earlier, it's just a great feeling to know that you've touched these people and that they achieved something that's going to be remembered forever.
Yeah, that's so cool. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It was a good treat for your birthday, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to, everyone, please make sure you wish Dennis a happy birthday and a congratulations. And we're going to dive into some questions here. Have a great show. Ari has a great question. New trumpet player here. Easiest way to articulate. So let's talk about articulation. Basically, when you articulate, my trumpet mouthpiece is being a little bit stuck here, so I'll just do the full trumpet. By the way, if your mouthpiece does get stuck, everyone, your band director has a special tool to take that mouthpiece out. So one thing, beginners, you never ever want to, if you have a stuck mouthpiece, don't ever try to pull it out with a pair of pliers or anything like that. You can actually damage your trumpet pretty easily. So your band director has a special tool that pulls the mouthpiece out. Okay, so articulating. Articulation is just like when we speak. The articulation is the way that we clearly speak our syllables and makes our words easy to understand. So when you're playing your instrument, articulation, especially on wind instruments, we think about how we're using our air and how we're using our tongue. So when you're a beginner, a great way to practice articulation is to start off with a long tone. So make your band face and just blow air like this. So for trumpet, you'd make your band face like an M, firm corners, but we're not going to try to buzz. We're just going to let the air come through the middle of our lips. Now what we do is when we start the sound, you start your tongue hitting behind your teeth like you're saying the letter T. So what I always do with my beginner students is I have them feel on their hand the airstream coming from their lips. Because sometimes students might not understand that the air is actually supposed to flow. Sometimes they just kind of make a sound like tss. We don't want that. We want air as if, you can really check this. Here's a random piece of paper. You hold up a piece of paper and the paper should move when you do your air. Okay, blowing your air. Now with your tongue behind your teeth, you're going to just have a straight airstream, but you're going to chop that airstream into pieces by going t, 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 t. So we go to a note. Let's just do a medium note. I'm going to do an E. So I'm going to do my steady air. And then while my air is flowing, my tongue is going to tap behind my teeth to go right where the top, behind your teeth, where your top teeth meet your top gums there, right at the top of your top teeth. Okay, so now I'm going to go long note, and then I'm going to start tonguing. Here we go. Let me get a better start. And you hear a couple times where my air is kind of faltering and my vibration is not really holding steady. This is why you really want to practice it. Get a steady note, and then when you tongue your notes, you want them to stay. You want your sound to stay as steady as possible. Now, if you want your notes to be a little bit separated, that's what we call connected style, what I just did. If you want your notes to be separated, you actually push a new push of air with each time you tongue. So instead of one long stream of air, you go puffs of air like you're, I tell my students, it's like you're blowing through a straw. You ever do that thing where you roll up the paper and you try to blow it out of the straw? Right? So we go So, I play trumpet. As you guys know, my main instrument is saxophone, clarinet, and flute. A professional trumpet player would probably give a little bit of a nicer example there of tonguing, but that's the basic idea. Okay, so it's connected style or separated style. So there is a little introduction. Sorry if that was a little bit too long. Let's go to another question. Abel, what can I do for daily practice on B flat clarinet? Okay. Wow. There's so much you can do for a daily practice routine. And actually that word I just used, routine, is something you want to start thinking about. So the best way to have efficient and effective practice is to take the amount of time that you know you're going to practice and try to plan out different aspects of playing your instrument. Let me explain what I mean. So a good planned out practice routine might start with basic warm-ups on long tones like I was just showing. Long tones are playing your instrument and just trying to hold nice steady notes. Maybe using a tuner to kind of make sure you're playing in tune. So there's lots of different long tones things you can do. Then maybe next on your list is going to be scales. Scales are when you play something like this. You play starting on C. You do all the letters up the scale, up to a high C, and then back down. Then maybe you want to work on a new scale, an F scale. You practice some scales. You can then go on to practice an etude or a special clarinet song that you're working on. Maybe then you want to go and work on a song for your band that you play in. If you play in a concert band, you have to work on your music for that. So, and then one last thing on that. In every practice session, you also want to try to put something in there that is maybe something that's extra fun for you to play. So maybe there's just a song that you don't necessarily need to practice for any particular thing, like a performance or anything, but it's just a song you like to play. Maybe you'd like to do a little bit of jazz. So always try to do something in your practice session that's kind of fun as well. There we go. That's a good little practice plan. Mia. Oh, let me just check in here. Josh said, oh, you guys are in Allentown. What are you watching me on the phone, I guess? So yeah, that's cool. There's a really cool festival happening in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So Josh, let us know how that's going. I'm really interested. I'm going to do some requests, but I think I want to also do some shout outs of some other people where you're watching from. Ari wished Dennis a happy birthday. Cecilia is watching from Georgia. That's really cool. A lot of folks are wishing Dennis a happy birthday. I do see Mia's request of This Is Halloween on sax. I will get to that. Robert, am I familiar with Midnight in Moscow? I am. It sounds vaguely familiar. I'm not really sure what it is, but if it's a song you'd like me to look up, I can check it out. Let's see. Requests coming in. Oh, okay. Robert wants that on tenor. Let's go and do. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? All right. I'm going to talk about this really quickly, okay, you guys? I got, and I'm going to look this up so I get the name correct. I got a message through my Dr. Selfridge Facebook page. And let me just switch over here to, I hope I can find it. Anyway, it was a band director. And I want to find her name because I want to give her a shout out. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to find it right now. Anyway, a band director messaged me and was wondering, do I have a video about the saxophone home keys? Because I have videos about flute home keys and clarinet home keys. So very quickly, I'm going to tell you about something called home keys on the saxophone. Now, this is a super important concept on all instruments, especially the woodwind instruments, because woodwind instruments have a lot of buttons. And when you first start to learn a woodwind instrument, it can be very confusing. Which buttons do I push and what fingers do I use to push these buttons? And so we always start off our beginner saxophone lessons with this concept of home keys. So the home keys means every finger on your left hand and your right hand, every finger has a specific job to do and a specific spot or button on the saxophone that is home. So we call them the home keys because every finger needs to stay close to home to play the appropriate, every finger needs to stay close to home to play the different notes that we need to play. When we look at a fingering chart, it's actually a picture of our home keys. So let's do the basic home keys right now. On your left hand, which is the hand that goes on top on the saxophone, we have our thumb. Your thumb goes on this plastic button on the back of the sax, and your thumb is in charge of this key right here. We're going to learn what this key does later. Then on your top hand, your left hand, it's a little bit tricky where your first finger goes because On saxophones, there's this key at the very top, which we're really not going to worry about right now. Don't go there for your first key. You actually go here with your first finger as the home key. Then we have to skip this little key right here. We don't really ever play this key at the beginning. Skip the little key and go and put your second finger on this key, and then the next key is really easy. Your third finger goes on the very next key. So we have thumb on the plastic button on the back. First finger, we skip the very top key, go to this key, skip the little key, finger 2, finger 3. Now your pinky is going to be in charge of these buttons right here. We'll learn those in more advanced notes. On your right hand, we have pretty easy home keys. Your right thumb actually is not in charge of a key. Your right thumb supports the saxophone on the thumb holder right here, the thumb rest it's called. Then your fingers of your right hand are pretty easy. It just goes on each button, 1, 2, 3. Those are our 3 home keys. And then our pinky of our right hand is in charge of these 2 buttons right here, which we'll learn later. So quick recap. It's super important that your fingers on your left hand and your right hand go to the home keys every time. So your top hand, thumb on the plastic button, 1, 2, 3, and then on your right hand, 1, 2, 3, and those are your home keys for your saxophone. When you look at a fingering chart, like I said before, it's like a picture of the saxophone home keys, and for each circle on the fingering chart, that is a button on your saxophone. If the little button on the fingering chart is empty or not colored in, that means you don't press down that key. And if the little circle on the fingering chart is colored in, that means you press down that button with your appropriate finger on the home keys. So that was especially for my friend who messaged me to ask me about how to do home keys on the saxophone. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling. Sorry if that was a little bit of a long explanation, but that's a really important concept. Steve Rogers says, I started to learn to play alto sax pre-COVID. I even had lessons, and just saying thank you for inspiring you. That's awesome. So thank you, Steve, for taking the time to be here and to make that comment. Speaking of saxophone, I'm going to go and do Mia's request of This Is Halloween on alto sax. I think that's what Mia said, alto sax. Let's find Mia's request up here. There it is. So this is, oh, that's not the one. Bloop, that's the one. So I'm pretty sure if you go to Dr. Selfridge, my website, Dr. Selfridge Music, I think I have a Halloween tunes packet. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Okay, everybody, so I'm going to click over to my website here. Let's see. That's my head. Okay, so on the, on the Dr. Selfridge Music website, okay, let me show you how I found this page. So drselfridgemusic.com, and then I go in the search, and the packet is called Spooky Tunes. And it's right here. And this is a packet that actually a friend of mine, my colleague who teaches at the elementary school, put this packet together for me. And so I'm sharing it with you all. Or he didn't put it together for me. He put it together for his students and shared it with me. And I'm pretty sure this is Halloween. I clicked on alto sax. Here we go. So let's look at the spooky tunes we have here. We have Shark Attack. A little bit scary, right? Shark Attack. The Addams Family. That's fun. Da-da-da-dum. Then we have Skin and Bones. I actually don't know that one. Maybe you do. Funeral March. In the Hall of the Mountain King. Witch Doctor. Here it is. So this is like the short version. Let me play this short version, and then I'm also going to look on YouTube, and maybe there's a longer version that I can find. This is the short, easy version. Okay, so that's like the super super basic beginner version. You might want to challenge yourself to get a little bit deeper into that song. So if I go to YouTube, you know, we always can look up sheet music here. This is Halloween alto sax. You never know if you're just going to be fortunate and lucky and find. Here it is. There is one. Actually, this is one of my favorite YouTube channels. It's called Saxplained. All right, let's check it out. This is for Mia. They start off with, by the way, look at that. That is a saxophone fingering chart. We were just talking about home keys. And you can see which ones you're supposed to press down. So the first part of these tutorials that they do are slower tempo, where they teach you how to play it at a slower tempo. I'm going to skip to the play along, which is going to be at a quicker tempo, and I'm just going to play it for you, okay? Here we go. Pretty cool. I just realized that my my little box up in the corner there was blocking some of the music. Just a little bit about this. I just want to tell you. Oh, they also have it for tenor sax. That's cool. A little bit about this. This song, it was for The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I think the composer is Danny Elfman. And he is known for writing music that has a lot of twisty-turny use of chromaticism. So a lot of chromatic notes. It can be a little bit tricky if you don't know all these notes, but definitely a very fun song to play. Cool. Let's continue on with some more comments and questions from you all. I do want to get to Robert's request of Midnight in Moscow. Jenny is requesting the Black Panther theme on sax. Okay. Terraria, do I remember Mr. Rhodes? I don't think so. I'm not sure. It's not ringing a bell. Time After Time. Okay. Question. I made a mistake of stopping and haven't touched my sax for a while. What would be the best way to get back playing? So do you remember, Steve, a few minutes ago I was talking about planning out your practice session? I think I was talking to Abel about practicing out or planning out a practice routine. And one of the things I said in a practice routine is try to always put something in there that is a song that you enjoy playing or are motivated to play or you think is fun to play. When I talk to my students about practicing, you know, sometimes practicing can be a little bit, sometimes practicing can seem like more of a chore, right? Like it's just something, oh, I've got to go practice my scales, just like, oh, I've got to go, you know, clean my room or something like that every day, or make my bed or things like that. So to really get into practicing, I tell my students to find something that really excites you or motivates you, something musical that makes you want to practice. So what is something you listen to and makes you say, oh, I want to be able to do that? And find that thing that makes you say, oh, I want to be able to do that. And then practicing becomes less of a chore and becomes more fun and something that you look forward to, and also becomes more meaningful and more effective, actually. So that's what I recommend. If you want to get motivated to get back into playing your sax, find a song, find something that motivates you to want to play. And that will get you hopefully back in the groove. Okay. I do want to play Robert's request, because this is interesting to me, this Moscow song. Where is it? Let me find it. Midnight in Moscow? Is that what it was? This is Dennis's reposting of the request. Midnight in Moscow. I have no idea what this is. Kenny and his jazz men. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's listen to this. Introduction. No. Okay, I guess that's the melody. So, so real quick, the first thing I need to figure out, everybody, is I need to figure out what key we're in. I think that's the key we're in. So whenever you're trying to find the key of a song, you find out what note sounds like the home bass, or what sounds like the center note of the song. I think it's that first chord. Okay, so it's C minor. C minor, D minor for tenor. Okay, what's the first melody note? Okay. Then it goes to the major key. All right, let me get this first phrase. I'm like hearing all the harmony notes. I think that's the melody. It's like the trombone. Okay. Okay. Then it goes to E flat major. It's hard because, you know, I'm trying to pick out, the melody is harmonized in like a trumpet and trombone, and the trombone is so loud in the mix, I can't tell if that's supposed to be the melody or if the trumpet is the melody. I think probably the trumpet is the melody. It's like higher notes. I can't tell which one's the melody. Anyway, that was a cool suggestion. Thank you, and I'm sorry I only played a little teeny bit of it. Let's go to some more questions. Jenny is watching from Augusta, Georgia. You know, let me do this. Let me do the Black Panther theme on sax. This is for Jenny. I think Jenny requested this. Let me see if this is on YouTube. Black Panther theme, alto sax. See what happens here. Okay, it's not. Oh, the Pink Panther theme is coming up. There's a big difference between the Pink Panther and the Black Panther. Okay, so this one I think I need. Let me do Black Panther theme sheet music. Try the different search terms. All right, so I'm not really finding it with sheet music. The next step is to go to Google, Black Panther sheet music theme. Let's see. Let's see if it... Black Panther main theme on MuseScore. All right, let me show you what I'm looking at. Here we go. So MuseScore is usually a pretty good source. I think I've told you guys before, MuseScore has a lot of stuff on there, but what's a little, you just have to be aware, MuseScore is a little bit like Wikipedia, meaning it's open source where anyone can go on there and create an account and upload a song or put a song in there. So there's going to be stuff that there's going to have mistakes or incorrect notes or things like that. Let's see what this sounds like. Now this is for piano, so I'd have to transpose it for alto sax. And when you're looking at piano music, generally you would play the top note. Okay, so we have sort of long note stuff happening. Ooh. I'm just trying to listen for like a melody that I could play. There's a lot happening here. Huh. All right, I'm going to change my approach here. I'm just going to listen to the Black Panther theme on YouTube and just pick something out that sounds like a Black Panther main theme. Here we go. I'll get like a copyright notice on this video, but that's okay. Okay. You know what, I'm gonna just figure out those couple of long notes just as a nice little bit to figure out. Okay, French horns. Not too difficult on alto sax, so it's B, D, E. Okay, and then B, F sharp, G. So there's the beginning. You have a B, D, E. Then B, F sharp, G. Then I think the other part, yeah. Same. So that same long note theme is happening, but the strings are going da 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 da. So that's something. I don't know if that's something that would be fun to practice or not, but whenever you're trying to figure out like popular music to teach it to students, you know, something like as massive as a movie score, there's going to be a lot of different things, and so you have to kind of pick out the little melodic spots that are going to be catchy to the ear. So that was just a small tidbit of something you could do. Let's keep rocking and rolling. How do you slur on the flute, Cecilia? I think I talked about this last week. Quick review. Slur just means the normal way to play two notes. I'm going to play E to G. The normal way to play two notes is to go ta, ta. Put a T at the beginning of each one. Slur is very simple. A slur would start on the E, curved line, and it would connect to the G. What you would do is you would put the ta on the E, but then you simply move your fingers with unbroken airstream to the G. You do not put a ta on the G. So tongued, slur. And so you would do that for any note that is underneath that sort of slur umbrella. So say it was slurring E, G, A. instead of that's a slur. Pretty straightforward concept. All right, let's see. Steve is wishing Dennis a happy birthday. Ramnath is checking in and says he's from India. So nice to have you here. Ramnath, very nice to see you. Whoa, Leonardo, can I play an A-flat diminished seventh chord on flute, but an octave higher on the music staff? Very specific request. So let's first talk about, where's the piano? Here we go. So here's an A-flat. So diminished means it's this kind of interesting that you're asking this question, because literally I taught a saxophone lesson this morning to one of my excellent saxophone students, and we were talking about diminished sevenths. So diminished seventh, fully diminished chord is when you start on any note and you go up a minor third and go up another minor third and go up another minor third. That is fully diminished. Okay? A minor third, by the way, is 3 half steps. So there are 3 half steps from each note. So that's A flat fully diminished. Now on the flute, let's see. You would like it higher on the music staff, so I'd start on a high A flat on the flute. Then I'd play a B, then a D, and the top note would be a high F. So one more thing I want to just mention about that. When you ask to play, excuse me, when you ask to play a chord on a flute, so wind instruments like flute, clarinet, sax, trumpet, things like that, cannot really play chords. We can play something called arpeggios. So an arpeggio is when you play a chord one note at a time. Technically, a chord would be when you play all the notes at the same time. The only instruments that can do that are keyboard instruments, piano, organ, harpsichord, guitar. Stringed instruments can do chords. So, am I missing something? Yeah. And any of the percussion instruments that are based off of keyboard instruments like marimba, vibes, things like that. So that was an interesting little question, and like I said, it was very a coincidence because I was just talking about that today. Laura. Oh, okay, it was Laura. Okay. Cut out. I think I will do that, actually. So Laura is the band teacher who messaged me. Sorry, Laura, I couldn't find your name on my messages. Let's see. Leonardo. Oh, all right. So Leonardo is asking another very good question. So I'm going to answer this one as well. I'm learning the diatonic chords on the flute. What exactly is a triad? Pretty quick answer for you. I'm going to go back to our piano. So a triad, what does the word tri mean? Like a tricycle or a triangle? TRI refers to the number 3, right? So a triad is 3 notes that make a chord. Let's take something simple like a C. And a typical triad we would learn is a major triad, and that means you would start on the root note of the scale, skip a note, like a little leapfrog, and we play the 3rd note of the scale, and skip a note, and we play the 5th note of the scale. We think of our solfege, do, mi, sol. That is how you make a triad. And what Leonardo is saying is you're practicing on your flute. I'll do the same thing on flute. Come back here. So there's our C triad, and Leonardo is practicing diatonic chords. You would just continue that pattern starting on each note of the scale. Or you could play them up and down like this. Like that. So that's what a triad is. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay. More comments and questions. Mia says, I rejoined band for senior year. Was wondering if you have any good tips for French horn. Yes, and actually, you've given me an excuse to get my French horn, which has been sitting back here. If you just excuse me for one quick second. It's right back here, which you can't see it. Here it is. So I actually have a French horn ready to play for you today. My big, all right, so someone who is just kind of getting going with French horn or trying to learn it, the thing that's important to, I think the most important thing for French horn is, one, your goal is to practice long tones, meaning play a note, and your number one goal is to keep it completely steady and staying on that same note for as long as possible. Because the French horn is, I'm trying to think of the right description for it. The partials or the overtones are very close together. So it's almost like you might think it's a very easy instrument to go off track into the wrong note. So you have to be very focused with your ear and your concentration to keep a note steady and not go off track. Let me show you what I mean. So the basic low note I like to start with for most students is that F on the piano, which is a C on the French horn. Ba. Now you might naturally have sort of firmer lips and might naturally get a higher note, like, which is a G on the French horn. So whichever one you get, doesn't matter. Your goal is to hold it steady and also practice hitting that note exactly the way you hear it in your ear accurately from the first time you try it. So you don't have that sort of crack or that false start like I'm sometimes doing. Let me see if I can demonstrate it. I'm going to try to hit G, 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 like that. Set your embouchure. Do you hear that? Trying to hit the nail right on the head each time. So that's and that's something your embouchure muscles will get better at, having that memory of exactly where to set to get the note. The second thing I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to move on to another question, but the second thing I want you to practice is the basic open with no valves pressed down. You're going to get the low note, the medium note, and the next note in the chord, which, by the way, related to this, what I was just talking about with Leonardo, that is a C major triad on the French horn. Open, C, stay open. A little bit higher is E, a little bit higher is G, and you can even go up to a high C. So let me show you what I mean. Getting the control to get those different notes. Low C. Slightly firmer lips, just slightly. Slightly firmer. And even more firm. That one's a bit of a bigger jump. So getting your chord notes. Do, do, mi, so, do. If you can work on those two things I just talked about and get good control of your steady note, hitting the notes right on the pitch from the very first second, and being able to go up and down that chord, it's going to be super, super helpful for you to get to feel like you have control over the instrument. Okay, great question. Okay, let me skip ahead a little bit here. Want to try to get everyone's questions. Ari, would I be willing to play my favorite song on my favorite instrument? Interesting. This is a question that I get asked a lot. I guess musicians in general, musicians in general get asked a lot. And what's your favorite song, or what's your favorite musician, or who's your favorite musician, or what's your favorite instrument? The favorite question, it's an interesting question to think about, but I really can honestly say I don't have a quote favorite, because there's so much out there. It's like impossible to pick a number one favorite. So what's something, I'll sort of amend the question if you don't mind, and I'll say I'll play a song I really like to play on one of my instruments that I can play. So, that I do have to think about. Okay, this one I'm just gonna randomly pick this one. This is a song I was just talking about in my saxophone lesson this morning. We talked about one of my favorite saxophone players, Dexter Gordon, and we played this song, which is called Fried Bananas. It's a kind of a funny title, right? But it goes like this. Let's see if I can remember it. Sorry. That's it. Kind of jazzy, right? So that is in jazz, sometimes you hear like a song and you're like, whoa, that melody is like so complicated. How do you remember it? A lot of the style of jazz that came out in like the 30s, the 40s, 50s, and beyond, there was a style of jazz called bebop, which brought a lot more complicated melodies to the forefront. And that's an example of one. That would be considered a bebop melody. Okay, good question. Macho are those flutes, recorders? That's a cool little, I think we should have a campaign for Apple or whoever to add emojis for all of the common instruments. I think right now we only have trumpet, sax, drums. So you guys, whatever instrument emojis you can find, go ahead and put them in the chat. I might be sorry I asked for that, but I think the only ones that are out there are like, although I don't know what this one is that you put up, mocho. But we really need a clarinet one. We need there's a piano there. We also need so many, trombone, French horn. Okay. Steve Rogers is in London. That's cool. Pink Panther theme on saxophone. I could do that. Let's do some more questions. All right, here is a new name. No pun intended. New, but a name I have not necessarily. I don't know if I've seen you here on the stream before, but welcome. Could I play You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch on the flute? That sounds kind of fun. So I'm gonna look this up. Mr. Grinch. I bet this is on YouTube. Flute sheet music. Da 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 da. Dun, da, da. Again, okay, this is on Flutorials, which is related. It's a related channel to that Saxplain channel I was talking about before. So here we go. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch on the flute. Oh, the tutorials first. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go all the way here to the play along. Here we go. Take my video off so you can see the notes too. Cool. Like, and the one thing I also like about that Flutorials channel is they do a very similar way that I do when I'm teaching songs that people want to request to play. You know, to do a video of the whole entire Mr. Grinch song, it's going to be a long video, and most people just want to learn maybe the basic idea of the song. So that was good. That the actual Grinch song is longer than that. Questions. Can I play the upper register keys on the clarinet? Sure. Yeah. So like there's a lot of keys that would be considered upper register. Well, here. Let me show you this. So you got your lower register, which is all of these keys, and the register is determined by this key called the register key. So we're not going to press that down. We're going to play the lowest note. Now that's the highest we can go in the lower register. To get any higher than this, we have to jump into the upper register, which is what you're asking about. And so we're going to start back down at the bottom, but now the thumb is going to press this register key, which is going to pop all of the notes an octave and a fifth higher than where they were. Now we can go higher than that, popping into the next register, which would be considered the altissimo. Woo! A little squeaky squeak. Sorry for your ears there. You hear those squeaks in there. That's actually, I was telling my student, when you squeak, it's actually just a super high overtone that you didn't mean to play. So squeaks are not necessarily bad things. They're just notes that are higher than what you meant to play. There we go. I need to warm up a little bit more before I try to play those notes. Okay, so folks, we are pretty much at the end of our show. We're getting there. If there are any, I'm kind of gonna scroll back and see if there's a request that I could try to do that maybe I missed. There are a few in here, but in the meantime, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. We've got a few minutes left. I do have public service announcement here. I do have a new flute video that's going to be coming out tomorrow. So I have some new flute videos that are going to be coming out in general. So keep an eye for that. What else? The Lake. All right, let me try this. The Lake Kingdom theme from Super Mario Odyssey on the flute. This seems maybe a little difficult to find, but let me just see what happens. Lake Kingdom theme, Super Mario Odyssey. Let me listen to it. Oh. Okay. So to me, that's the melody that I would want to try to pick out, that really high violin. Is it a harp? Wait. Yeah, I guess it's a really high harp. Some sort of plucked string instrument. So... Okay. Trying to hear those pitches. Hold on. Sometimes when they're that high, they're a little tricky. I'm going to have to play it kind of down an octave. Is that it? Yeah. I feel like I'm playing it wrong. Hold on. AC. No. That's it. It's an F. My bad. T, la, ti, do. Okay. That's the beginning. Okay. Oh. Okay, then it repeats. Okay, let me see if I can catch all this. Here we go. Hold on. Try it again. It gets really high. Well, anyway, that's the beginning part of it. That's a very nice, peaceful way to end today's show. So, folks, thank you so much for another great show. We're going to, like I said, keep an eye out for our new flute video, which is coming out tomorrow. Dennis, thank you for another great show.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Beautiful day out, so I don't know. Hopefully enjoy the weather a little bit. It's been very rainy around here.
I will. Yeah.
and go birds, right?
Yes. We're tied now.
Oh, are they?
24-24.
Okay. Well, everyone, make sure you say thanks to Dennis in the chat, and thank you for being here. 1 second. Echo, stop. I somehow triggered my Amazon Echo. All right. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. We'll see you again next week, same time, and make sure you practice and come with some more questions next week and more requests. I always love hearing your questions and requests. Until next time, guys, have fun and go practice. See you later. That last thing, whatever I said, I triggered my Amazon Alexa.